Ever felt like you're screaming for help, but no one is listening? For thousands of parents going through custody battles, this is a daily nightmare. They're facing something called parental alienation, where one parent systematically turns their children against the other. But when they turn to law enforcement for protection, they often hit a wall. Today, we're diving deep into a critical question. Are police failing to protect alienated parents? Let's start with one of the most destructive tactics: false allegations. Imagine being accused of abusing or neglecting your own child, not because it's true, but as a strategic move to win custody. It sounds like something from a movie, but it's a devastating reality. Research shows that about 20% of high-conflict custody disputes involve allegations that are later proven to be completely baseless. When a parent makes a false report, it triggers a cascade of traumatic events. Child Protective Services get involved, investigations are launched, and your time with your children can be immediately cut off. The emotional and psychological toll is immense. In fact, studies reveal that roughly 67% of parents targeted by these false claims report suffering from serious anxiety or depression. They feel helpless, watching their reputation and their relationship with their children crumble. So where are the police in all of this? This is where the problem gets even worse. Many alienated parents report that when they try to explain that the allegations are false and being used as a weapon, law enforcement is often hesitant to get involved or press charges for making a false report. This lack of accountability sends a dangerous message that you can lie to the authorities to gain an advantage in court with little to no consequence. It effectively gives the alienating parent a green light to continue their emotional abuse, leaving the targeted parent feeling abandoned by the very system designed to protect them. Beyond false allegations, there's the relentless grind of harassment. This isn't just an occasional angry text message. We're talking about a calculated campaign of smear tactics, constant unwanted contact, and reputational attacks. The alienating parent might spread rumors to your boss, contact your friends and family with lies, or create fake social media profiles to defame you. The goal is to isolate you, wear you down, and make your life so chaotic that you can't effectively fight for your children. And it works. Statistics show a 30% increase in work-related stress for victims of this kind of harassment, sometimes even leading to job loss. Your personal relationships suffer, your mental health deteriorates, and you live in a constant state of high alert. When you take this evidence of harassment to the police, what happens? All too often, the response is, "It's a civil matter, not a criminal one." This dismissal is crushing. For the parent being targeted, it feels anything but civil. It feels like a relentless assault on their life. This response leaves them feeling completely unsupported and isolated. It's no wonder that a staggering 50% of victims who are dismissed once by police don't bother reporting again. They lose faith in the system, believing that no one will help them. Now let's talk about a more subtle but equally damaging form of abuse: coercive control. This isn't about physical violence. It's about psychological domination. An alienating parent might use coercive control to completely manage the targeted parent's life from a distance. This can look like monitoring all their communications, demanding to know where they are at all times, isolating them from their support system of friends and family, and most cruelly manipulating access to the children as a form of punishment or reward. Think about it. If you don't do what I say, you won't see the kids this weekend. This is a classic example of coercive control. The targeted parent is trapped, forced to comply with unreasonable demands just to maintain a connection with their children. Astonishingly, reports suggest that up to 90% of alienated parents experience some form of this insidious control. When law enforcement fails to recognize these patterns as a form of domestic abuse, it strengthens the abuser's grip. The controlling parent becomes more emboldened, knowing they can act with impunity. The targeted parent's mental health suffers immensely, and tragically, the children are caught in the middle. They witness this dynamic of power and control, which can lead to significant behavioral problems, anxiety, and struggles in school. This isn't just a conflict between two adults. It's a crisis that harms the entire family. Another disturbing tactic is the strategic misuse of government agencies. The alienating parent learns to play the system. They might repeatedly contact Child Protective Services, school administrators, or even healthcare providers, feeding them a distorted narrative designed to paint the other parent as unstable, negligent, or dangerous. Each call triggers another investigation, another round of interviews, and another layer of stress. This is a form of institutional abuse, where the very systems meant to protect children are weaponized against a loving parent. Over 40% of alienated parents report facing this kind of interference. It creates immense financial strain from legal fees, puts them at a severe disadvantage in court, and inflicts profound emotional distress. When police see this as just parents fighting, and don't investigate the malicious intent behind these repeated false reports, they become complicit in the abuse. They allow the alienating parent to manipulate state resources to continue their campaign of harassment. So why does this keep happening? A recurring theme is the civil matter misconception. Many law enforcement officers are trained to see disputes between separated parents as something for family court to handle, not the criminal justice system. They believe their role is to de-escalate immediate conflict, not to investigate underlying patterns of abuse like coercion or harassment. This mindset has disastrous consequences. It leads to massive underreporting. It's estimated that a shocking 70% of parental alienation cases are never even reported to the police, because victims have learned from experience, or from the stories of others, that they won't be taken seriously. They feel silenced and invisible. This inaction allows the cycle of abuse to continue unchecked, with devastating long-term effects on both the targeted parent and the children, who are taught that one parent's love is conditional and the other parent is worthless. So, what's the solution? We can't continue down this path. The system has to change. It starts with better and more specialized training for police. Officers need to be educated on the dynamics of parental alienation, the subtle signs of coercive control, and the devastating impact of strategic false allegations. They need to understand that these behaviors aren't just family drama. They can be criminal acts of harassment, stalking, and defamation. Protocols need to be updated. When a parent reports a pattern of harassment, it should be investigated as such, not immediately dismissed as a civil issue. When there's evidence of a malicious, false report being filed to influence a custody case, there must be real consequences. We need a systemic shift that recognizes emotional and psychological abuse within family conflicts as the serious crime it is. In conclusion, the evidence strongly suggests that current policing practices are leaving alienated parents dangerously vulnerable and unsupported. By frequently mislabeling abuse as a civil matter, the system inadvertently protects the abuser, not the victim. This isn't just about fairness to parents. It's about protecting the well-being and mental health of children who are being taught to hate a parent they love. It's time to demand change, to ensure that law enforcement takes this form of abuse seriously, and to provide real protection for families being torn apart by it. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonates with you or someone you know, please share this video to raise awareness. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that dives into the important issues affecting families today. We'll see you in the next one.